Welcome back to the Core Cars News Tech Lab. Today we're going to be taking a look at a streaming player I've wanted to look at for some time now. And that's the Xumo streaming player out there. Now, originally designed and built by Comcast, later as it entered into a joint partnership with Spectrum. And that's the version I'm going to be looking at, the Spectrum Xumo streaming player. It's also available to Comcast customers. I'm in talks with Comcast trying to get a version of their streaming player. It's a little different. And it's also been released to other cable companies out there who give it to their customers either as a replacement cable box or as like Comcast does it, a streaming player to its internet-only customers. A few notes here with this. It is a full-fledged streaming player, very much like a Roku and a Fire TV, Apple TV, Google TV, etc. But the Spectrum version's actually now their main default cable TV box. And Spectrum is slowly trying to transition all their customers over to this, replacing traditional cable with a streaming service that really, other than the user interface and stuff, works just like Fubo, Hulu, YouTube TV, etc. So we're going to break down the pros and cons of this, let you know everything you need to know about it. If you're thinking of taking them up on the offer to get these boxes, they are rentals or you can buy them. I'll tell you a warning with that there in a minute. First though, if you like what we do here, consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. Let's start off just by checking out the actual remote. Now it's a pretty standard remote here. You got the up-down directional pad. Here you do have controls for your television, including input, so you can control what input's on it. Some quick launch buttons, a home voice button, and a number pad here if you use the Spectrum streaming cable TV package. You can enter cable numbers just like you used to with cable TV. Let's take a look at the actual user interface. This is the home screen on this one here. You see I have a bunch of recommended content here, different apps and stuff I can check out. Now here's all your apps. This is a pretty standard row with apps, Netflix, YouTube, Disney+, Hulu, Peacock, all the big ones. Now, 5 or so years ago when this first started coming out, I think it's been about 5 years, I recommended against this device for one big reason. Lack of app support. Many big apps were here, but a lot of apps were not. That has dramatically improved over the last few years, and I think for most people, every major app you would want is here, including things like YouTube TV, which earlier would probably have been unheard of for this device, but is now here. So you can just get all that and access all of them. You can also do things like access your My List, favorite content, and more in it. But, you know, this is their new cable box, and I get it here through an HOA on that. So let's check this out. You get to sort it for a few things. If you do not have cable television, you can do things and still access free content through the Xumo streaming service, which is just like Pluto TV, the Roku, and the like. But you can sort things like news and more in it and access all. Let's see here, all channels. Am I not in the right one? All right, let's go back here and do this again. All right, so you see like I got my PBS, Fox, and the more. View guide. Free to me. There we go, here we go. Here is all the content in it. I just didn't hit OK enough times, apparently. But you see, a few interesting things here, that there is no number guides here, and I wish it would give me things like, what exact channel is this? Major issue, it's actually my ABC, I can see here, but in this guide, it just says WFTV-DT. Spectrum, this is a big issue. Why doesn't that say ABC? Why doesn't this say things like the CW, Channel 27, and more? Like this is TNT here. Let's keep moving down here. You got other local, my IONs, and more in this. But you're just giving me the call signals. A lot of people don't memorize the call signals beyond maybe just their big 4. Major fail in Spectrum part here. But you got others. You got CNN and all this, and a very nice grid guide that's very smooth. Look how quick I'm jumping forward here. I'm into tomorrow. You can jump into different days here. I can see what's on Sunday. Wait for the schedule to load. Let's see here how long it takes. There you go. There's the schedule for Sunday. Let's go back to the home screen here on it and keep going down. So you got your apps, you got your guide. Top 20 most watched things right now. The Last of Us, Conan O'Brien Must Go. You notice some of these are not from the cable. These are actually recommending feeds from its streaming apps, which is pretty nice. Where a lot of times many people were worried that this would only push Spectrum cable television content, really try to get you to subscribe even if you didn't, but it's not there. Now you do have other content in here, access to other stuff, Paramount, Hulu, and others. Remember now, if you are a television customer with Spectrum, you do get certain streaming services like Hulu for free with that. Popular movies, free apps and content here, home screen tour, other settings, other options. So I've reached the end of the home screen. Few important things to know about this. This box, well, they will give it to you. There is a monthly fee for it. Now the catch here is after about a year, you could have bought the device and be done with it. If you rent it, it just keeps going. You'll pay that few bucks every month with it. The thing with that though is if you damage it or the remote breaks, if you're renting, they'll replace it for free. But how often does really a streaming player break or remote if you're careful with it? Honestly, not that often. Be very careful of the Spectrum rental agreement because you could end up paying for the device 3 or 4 times over before you have to actually replace it. While I do think it's a good streaming player, there's really no major holdups with it. Its app support has dramatically improved and increased over the last few years, including many apps that many people were shocked to see or thought maybe never would come to this, including things like YouTube TV, etc. It's just not something that I think that will help many people by renting it versus just paying the upfront fee and buying it and then not have to worry about paying every month to access it. So keep that in mind. Would I be throwing away my Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV switching this? Honestly, probably not. There's nothing in here that I consider a killer feature that I say, oh man, this does something that YouTube TV or Roku, I should say, or Fire TV or Google TV or Apple TV doesn't. I still do believe that the app support on many of those other devices is better, but it's usually, now we're really splitting hairs in some very smaller services that the vast majority of people probably never heard of. Where the big name services out there are already available and included in this, I think most people would be more than happy with what's here. Now, if you are a Spectrum TV customer, this is your future. This is what it's going to look like with it, and this is what you're going to be given in the future. Now, Spectrum does technically say their old cable boxes and the old cable way to get internet is still supported, but the reality is this is where they're moving people to. Reason being is it frees them up from a bunch of legacy hardware. Right now they're having to maintain a legacy cable television system. If they can move all their customers over and shut that down and just offer streaming, they can focus all their hardware and expenses on upgrading their internet service, and then TV is just a streaming option just like YouTube TV and others. One interesting note with that though, one of the big selling points of cable TV was the lack of delay. Right? YouTube TV, Hulu, etc. has a 30-second on average delay behind what you see on cable TV. So that touchdown that you just saw on YouTube TV may have been seen on cable somewhere between 20 and 30 seconds earlier. Most people don't care about that. Some people really do. But with Spectrum switching over to streaming, there's not a lot there with that. You'd be surprised at how many people really care about that. And now that Spectrum's getting rid of that, there's not a lot of reason to have Spectrum. What do you think? It's interesting. I'll be honest, I'm very pleased with the speed of this. Look how fast this moves through here. I love the grid guide on it if you get their TV streaming packages. Be careful of fees and taxes and other things with it. I love how it does recommend content that's not just on TV, but it's also available through different services with this. This through the Xumo one I can see here. Through HBO Max right here, or soon to be HBO Max, still called just Max. You can see it's all in here with it and different things. Let's hop out there and get back to the home screen. So you can see a lot of content here included with it and available to cord cutters. Well, there you go. If you are a Spectrum customer, this is the app. I hope I can get my hands on the Xumo streaming player for Comcast soon. Once I do, I'll do a review of it. Theirs is very different in how it operates and how they sell it to customers. Well, until next time, if you like what we do here, please consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. It really does help us. We'll be back again tomorrow with another video.